Здравствуйте, и добро пожаловать в Achievement Hunting 101.
Hello, and welcome to Achievement Hunting 101, a podcast that lets you know that X gonna give it to you. This is level 205. With us this week, we have KooshMoose, aka Nate.
Hello.
We have Michelle, aka Matrarch.
Hola.
And we have Exe The Hero, aka X.
Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it?
That is the name on his birth certificate, he has assured me.
It's Hero, X the.
Oh, interesting.
Have you been X?
That makes a lot of
Has
sense.
been a while.
I mean, for the past 3 weeks, I've been pretty good on summer break. But man, it's been a hell of a year. If you have noticed my absence, that was 100% attributed to school just draining every ounce of life out of me. So,
Well, we notice your 100 proof absinthe. That's more than what we notice. I don't know if that's really a thing. That's your expertise.
I mean, 100 proof absinthe would be pretty low. Absinthe's usually like 60 to 80%, which is, 120 to 160 proof.
Oh, because you like double it or something.
It's pretty much just a glass of pure alcohol with some green stuff thrown in.
Like kale or something? Like a keto friendly?
Yes, that you heard it here. Absinthe is just alcoholic kale smoothie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's vegetarian. Yep.
Gluten-free,
Vegan friendly,
GMO-free.
gluten-free,
Right.
right.
Old Bay in it for some seasoning.
Oh, yeah.
man. Only a Marylander would be like,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean, I like Old Bay too, but I don't think I want it in my absinthe kale smoothie. But
Well, that was
yeah,
the food
I
portion
am
of the show.
glad to be here.
Awesome.
Oh,
Do you have more Old Bay secrets to divulge to us?
well, I mean, I guess you could float some, Old Bay goldfish on top. That would be perfect for the drink. You little crunchies in your drink. I hear people like that.
I
Now
still
listen,
look for
there's
that.
No need to be crabby because you have bad puns.
Oh, boy. We're not starting that. That's you and some other dude. Not starting that here.
That's my
Well,
thing
we-
on this show. Where have you been?
No, where have you been?
We already talked about that. I've been wallowing
Oh.
in my own anxiety and depression from school, but we don't need to talk about that again.
Sweet. Let's talk about something equally as pointless, achievements. All right, here we go. We have the topic of discussion this week was brought to us by, Exe The Hero.
Hey,
You wanna read it?
Yeah,
You
it's
can
almost
read it.
like I was going to be on this show, and we planned me asking the question. We totally didn't plan me asking the question. It just happened. So anyway, the question of the week. As your gaming time declines from getting older and getting busier and such, have your gaming goals and habits and priorities changed in any way? How so, if yes? And if they haven't, how have you managed to keep focus with your reduced gaming time? I asked this question, or I guess I was inspired to ask this question, because even though I'm on summer and blah, 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 24 hours to yourself, like, now is my chance. I can finally catch up on things around the house that I didn't have time to do, and, like, I've gamed less this summer than I did after school. And just collectively throughout the years, my game time has just plummeted. Just extra responsibility, a bigger apartment, more things to do. We got cats, we got to take care of the cats, and I don't know, I kind of just miss the golden days where I could just come home at, 4 o'clock and flop on the couch and play games until 9 o'clock. That doesn't happen anymore, so I wanted to ask my fellow olds if they shared that experience. Hey, I will be, by the time you all listen to this, I will be 32, so I have officially joined the old club.
Oh, is that the number?
That's the number. 31, spring chicken whippersnapper. 32, though, you might as well be dead.
32. I guess I've been dead for a while.
Yeah, I feel like M and L, I'm old now, so ML,
I know
you guys
all
are
about it.
ancient. Koosh, that makes
Yeah.
you like an ancestral remain over there,
He's a
Yeah,
remain. He's
basically.
not
I'm
here.
pretty much.
Put him in a museum.
They'll be finding antler fossils,
yeah.
down in Maryland with a bottle of Old Bay wedged in them.
All right, actually, was that all you had to say about your answer?
Oh no, I didn't
You're
actually
just
give
busy
my answer.
now?
I just
Oh.
explained.
You
the
just said that you're
question.
old and you fall asleep. That's what I deduced.
Yeah, that's about right. And somehow Scotch keeps me going. But no, my answer to
That's
my
a
own
downer.
question. Oh wait, no, you're drinking it wrong if it's a downer.
Oh, I guess I got to put coffee in it. I guess.
Okay, all right, Noth. Anyway, my own answer to my
dare
own
you.
question. Let me talk. My own answer to my own question is my priorities have definitely changed. I won't rehash my, hitting a million, and I've stopped playing Rats and sometimes use. But even beyond that, like I used to play all the visual novels, and now I'm at the point where, do I really want to read this story that I'm not interested in for 2-3 hours, or do I want to go shoot stuff? Because Far Cry is pretty awesome, or like here's a cool, this game has a nice story I can play. Let me do that, or a good puzzle game. The quick and easy games have lost their appeal, but then even I need action to keep me involved, basically. So I've abandoned a lot of leaderboards. I'm kind of just playing what I want to play in my time. So that is my not very exciting but honest old man answer.
So what you're saying is you play for fun and not for achievements?
I am more or less at the point where 90% of the time I am playing exclusively for fun. The other 10% of the time we'll talk about a little later, but yeah,
Gotcha.
it's good stuff, man. I want to play this game, let me play this game. I don't care if it ups my ratio, downs my ratio, completion percentage hit. I just gotta play it because it looks fun.
Does that mean that if you finish the game and you're kind of done with the game, you're not going to go mop up, or are you just happening to pick games that you want to mop up anyway?
I really haven't gone into the backlog. I went through a big purge probably 3-4 months ago of just games that I'm either just never going to play or they're in the backlog and I'm just never going to go back to them. So I think I went from like 450 games installed on my main Xbox down to, I think I'm at like 380 now, which is still a ton of games, but it was just sort of that purge that I'm never going to go back to.
Wow. I think Koosh is recommending 380 games this week.
Yeah, I might have to cut it back to 250.
Yeah. So, X, do you want to read one of our patron responses?
Sure. My boy Chewy. How you doing, Chewy?
That's not right.
Okay, well, so be it.
You even do Wookiee accents wrong. It's incredible.
Well, Chewy said, "Hello, podcast. The biggest shift in my gaming actually happened years ago when I went from working retail out of uni to a regular 9 to 5. That's about Chewy, right?
It's like he's here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. I used to have full days to myself that I'd sink into bigger games, Fallout 3, Mass Effect 2, etc. But I barely scratched the surface of games like that scale and instead spend more time jumping around on smaller things. Apart from slowing things down for a few months around the time my kids were born, and by kids he means, like little Sasquatches, of course, I've actually managed to consistently carve out gaming times in the evening, much to my wife's chagrin. I don't know how I'd say that with a Scottish accent. Also, the Scottish accent has... okay, it's bad. But, so I haven't found a way to reduce it. I haven't found it reduced at all, really. If anything, I game more in the last few years, thanks to this danged place. I stay up way too late and don't get nearly enough sleep. It's all those bloomin' contests, because what kind of madman is responsible for those? So Chewy is somehow living the dream. He had kids and now has more time to game. Figure that one out.
I think that's kind of a theme, actually.
I mean,
in a lot of these responses. I mean,
it might be like the age that children are allowed to work over across the pond. Possibly.
I think it's
Aren't there like Wookiee labor laws, or do they age differently?
Kind of like Mork from Mork and Mindy, where they're adults when they're born and they shrink down to.
I mean,
Nobody? Okay.
I won't be in the old club for another 2 hours, so I don't get it.
You're right to not.
I mean,
respond.
Chewy, you could play Fallout 3 and Mass Effect 2 if you stop buying so many crappy little games. You're doing it to yourself.
I don't know. I'm with him though, and it's not like a time thing because I have I played Dragon Quest it was 11. That was an 80-hour RPG, but I don't know, an 80-hour RPG that used to be nice. Let me just carve out a week and get it done. And now an 80-hour RPG, that's 2 months of game time, and that's the only game I play for 2 months. So I get not wanting to approach them. They are daunting.
Well, I think you need to hang out with your wife a little more, Chewy, so she doesn't have the chagrin anymore.
Chagrin, huh? We're talking about rugs now?
Yes, absolutely. He is shaggy.
That's not what that means in Scotland.
Who's next? Nate.
So Hatton says, and here, here's my impersonation of Hatton. My situation is much aligned with Chewy's. I have found my gaming time increases as I get older. Having a child now means less going out, etc. So I am in the home more. Also coincides with COVID and working from home, meaning that I now don't spend 2 hours in my car or on a train. So more gaming time there. I tend to play a lot when my wife goes to sleep, so normally available from 9 to 10-ish onwards. In terms of my gaming pattern, I started out a few years ago by just wanting... Should have proofread. Hear that bloop. I wanted to hear that bloop by any means necessary. I played some terrible games and switched between one game to the next every 5 minutes. After changing strategy a fair few times, I am now looking to delve into some games that I may have missed by being late to the game. Going back and playing some Epic 360 games has definitely been a great change for me. I also have chosen to play a lot of games that fall into genres that interest me, mainly racing and sports. These games tend to help with the gaming time, actually, as they tend to be pick up and plays. So I suppose, TLDR, we could have started with that, my gaming time has increased, and I tend to now focus on games I actually want to play, / playing some of the highest rated 360 games that I have missed. That sounds familiar.
Wow, it sounds like he's also playing for...
No.
Yeah, bleep.
I can't say it, oh no.
That's the bloop we were talking about.
Yes, there we go. Okay, so awesome. That I love to hear that people are playing what they want to play. As I've gotten older, have I played more or less? Well, when you have a young child, you play a lot because you're up at all hours of the day, and hopefully you have at least one hand free to do a little bit of gaming, where you're not feeding or holding or rocking. But those days are long gone. So these days, I'm just, I'm sacrificing sleep for game time. That's kind of how it works, and I'm okay with that. So do I play more or less? I play about the same because I sacrifice a lot of sleep. So what do I play? If a game I really like is out, I plays it. I also chase Game Pass games that I like and some that I don't. And when I'm not doing that, I'm doing some other crazy contest, probably like RTDL 1 month or 2 weeks, because Game Pass leavings happen every 2 weeks. And then when I'm not doing that, I'll just play something else for fun. So mostly I have strayed away from the Radalaikas and the East Asia sauce and things like that. They're just kind of like empty calories. Not to say that those publishers don't every now and then put out a good game or a fun, I shouldn't say good game, a fun game that also happens to be quick and easy. They put out some good games too. But yeah, for the most part, I'm playing stuff in my backlog, or brand new stuff or whatever. Just whatever I want to play is what I'm playing. I don't really feel like I need to play anything, except for when it's leaving Game Pass. Basically, I'm a whole ball of contradictions.
All right. Not quite sure what your answer there was. But, sounds like...
Yeah, well, then I got my point across.
That was his answer, the whole walking contradiction thing.
Sounds like you play for fun also. This is happening. Michelle.
Okay.
What do you got for us?
Well, I have 2 brief patron responses. So I'm going to start by reading Wild West 08's response, who said that...
Sure they're not boxer responses?
What?
Boy.
What?
Keep going.
Boxers or briefs? No?
We got it.
Oh. I missed it.
It's an underwear joke.
Jokes are funnier when you have to explain them. I understand.
Go back to episode 23 when Pete Tart asked lightning round questions. You can get all your answers there. All right, so Wild West says, I have seen my gaming increase as my kids get older and my job changed. I'm working less and have more time for gaming. Sometimes family life means it takes longer to finish a game, but I don't mind. I wanted to hit the million, then shift to more management action RPG games. So I think this is kind of in line with the changes in my family changed how I game, but surprisingly for most people it changed how they game, so they game more. And that seems to be a common thread, because you would think once kids come around, it's like, yeah, this is going to kill all your gaming time. And like you've all alluded to already, there are times where there's more time because you have to be home, you have to be around with the kids, or, the time you used to spend hanging out with your spouse, you don't really get anymore because your spouse is exhausted. And so you get that time on your own to hang out and play games and whatnot. And then Vulgar Latin responds that he's trying to do better with time management in general and really plotting out how he wants things to go. I have also, first person, third person shifting here. I also have decided against more grindy things because for the most part, I don't care about full completions as much as I used to. I'm okay with letting things slide. I think I really had to give this question some thought because my immediate reaction was, I don't really think I play any different than I used to. I pretty typically have always been one to come home and throw on my console and play. My coworkers will be like, why do you play games so much? I'm like, why do you binge so much TV? It's the thing I do to unwind at the end of a day. But I think more honestly, I have my console on for more time, but I'm not sure I actually spend a whole lot more time playing than I used to. I think that's the idea of it. Because frequently I'll come in from work, I'll turn on my console, go into the other part of the house and take care of stuff I have to take care of. And by the time I've made it back into my room where my console is, it has timed out and I have to turn it back on again. I think my ability to play is about the same, but my desire to spend long periods of time sitting and playing a game is different unless it's something I'm really into. So like when Psychonauts 2 came out, I had no problem sitting there for several hours playing it. And games that typically get me to play for a longer stretch of time are actually things like Rocket League, like the one more game type games. But I think, in terms of the question, once again, it's thankfully my work situation's about what it is. I don't I have a 9 to 5. I don't have take home work, so I have time to play after, and it's been that way for a while. So not much has changed for me actually, which I know is boring, but that's where I'm at.
For whatever reason, you actually made me think of something that I had not factored into my reduced gaming time. But it also sounds like once I'm old, I will have more time. But that's besides the point. I think I just called all of our patrons old. I'm sorry, guys. But when Kelsey and I first moved in together, we just ate a lot of crap. So I could game while I threw, the pizza in the oven for 45 minutes. But now since we're trying to save money and eat healthier, I spend an hour each night cooking. And that definitely cuts into game time as well. And I hadn't thought of that at any point until just now.
I think there's also some element of and this is not 100% for 100% of people, but when you're younger, you're more likely to I'm not going to waste my time sitting at home. I'm going to go out and see this concert after work. I'm going to go out to a movie, or I'm going to do this and that. When 5:30 hits and I'm out of work, I just want to come home. I want to get into pajamas and I just want to veg. I don't care exactly what I'm doing. But I don't make a whole lot of weeknight plans to go out and do things. And definitely more so as, the further away I get from college, where I felt like I was always involved with something. and that's, again, not the case for everybody. But I definitely feel like that's been the case for me.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you 100%. Back in May, I saw 2 concerts in 2 nights, Tuesday night and Wednesday night, and I don't think I have ever been more exhausted than I was on that Thursday. How do people do things on weeknights? I was no good teaching that next day.
I agree with that. All right. Last but not least, we are going to hear from Creature Spelled Backwards, otherwise known as Rutarek. And he says, I wouldn't say my priorities have changed much. I've always wanted to complete every game I started, but in the early days of Xbox, I just start what I wanted, whether I could finish it or not. Now, with there being so much choice available, I very rarely buy/play anything I know I won't be able to complete, nor will have the patience to, such as Diablo 2 or Halo Infinite, for example. I know this answer will annoy L, targeted,
Did it?
because I shouldn't let something so arbitrary dictate what I play. But I play a lot of games as it is, so missing out on a game every now and then isn't an issue for me. Chances are I'll play something equally as good instead, and it helps limit the spending on games if only by a small amount. If I really want to play a game I can't complete, though, there's always Steam/Switch/second Xbox account. Wow, Aruturek, I didn't know you were such the completionist, OCD completionist. I mean, come on. I know this type of topic comes up every now and again. Are you really going to try to complete everything you start. Come on.
I think his point at the end, though, with Steam Switch or a second account is a valid point, because I'm not so much a completionist either. I like keeping my percentage. It's about 80 right now. I get upset when it dips into 79.9, but it doesn't like change the way I'll just get it back, to 80 at some point. But I do like on Switch games where I'll just play the story. Like Pokemon, I beat the Elite Four, I did a couple quests, and that was it. Like if that game was on Xbox, I'm sure I would have been compelled to continue playing after the Elite Four for another 40 hours to do whatever. But I didn't feel like I needed to. So
as I get older, the
nice
numbers are not as important. Because what does that 80% really mean if you boosted that by playing 1,000 easy 1Ks and just getting that completion percentage up? What does it really
Hey, now, all those gentlemen 720s...
What does it really mean?
All those gentlemen 720s are pulling me down.
No, it's still... That's still what? 8 of 12?
I feel like
you know what I'm getting at, but... Go ahead, Michelle.
I feel like completion percentage is it's a bit of a strange, because I'm in the same boat. I keep trying to get around 80% and getting knocked back. And the more that I'm thinking about it, the more I think it doesn't bother people on other consoles. Because we hear that a lot, right? Like, oh, I have a PlayStation or I have a Steam account or whatever else. And that's because we're not as inclined to play things we don't really feel like playing on other consoles. I've played a lot of stuff on Xbox where I really didn't think that I wanted to, but there's a contest, or hey, it was free, or whatever else. Like, the other consoles I had in my life, like, I always just played what I wanted to play, and that was it. I never felt a need to go out and just buy a Call of Duty or whatever, even though I know that's not my thing. So I think, like, it's hard when you've had an account on Xbox for 10, 15 years, whatever it is now, to sort of keep penalizing yourself for the way that you approached your gaming years ago. So it's just, I'm with you on the completion percentage thing, but I feel like it's complicated because the way we approach our gaming on Xbox in particular is so different than other consoles.
I mean, I guess what he's saying is if there's something like a Gears 5 that he wants to try and have on a stag, he'll play it on a second Xbox account, which I get to a point. But
right, I'm not deriding that. I think that's fine.
I am. I mean, no, I don't gatekeep. No, I don't tell anyone.
Yeah, I just think it's because you just didn't care at that point. It's just that whole ecosystem of achievements and percentages, and most of us coming through to a podcast like this one because of TA, which is so stat focused, we've sort of done it to ourselves.
Well, the biggest thing with the completion percentage is that you want to finish what you start, right? You wouldn't do that with movies, right? You wouldn't watch a third of a movie and then
I would
down and watch start another movie.
That's actually a good example, but no, if the movie sucks, I just put it down.
I have definitely watched the first season of many shows that I've never gone back to and finished.
Stop it, Michelle.
But if there was like a site, and I'm not saying this would necessarily be the case, but if there was if there was like some kind of TA for your Netflix viewing habits, and it picks up that you started streaming whatever show, and now your stats drop because you only watched the first season of it, you may feel that inclination to be like, oh, well, I mean, I just have to run it, right? Like we're all just really like slaves to the stats that we're seeing there. And I think if that's removed from the picture, it's not as pressing to most of us. Not all of us. There's some people who are still feel like that's important, and that's what motivates them to game. But I feel like sometimes we understate the role that TA plays in how a lot of us have approached this stuff.
I agree. It also helps once you can convince yourself that nobody is going to your TA page and checking your stats. Mm-hmm. Like, no one's judging you. Mm-hmm. You can kind of just focus on whatever you want to focus on or not focus on, as the case may be. As I pull up Big L's page and critique every number.
It's an interesting point.
Daily. I do that daily with coffee.
Just want to get to 69% and stay there.
That's because I'm here.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I apologize.
Hey, Kenny. Um. Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to say is we'll probably talk about this more later also, but what Volger said about okay letting things slide, I'm doing that too. Like if I'm not having fun playing, I'm not playing. And what's fun to me generally is close your ears, X. What's fun to me is being in a party and hanging with people or playing co-op games. Now, I am starting the game I chose for my game showcase this week. I'm trying to do some more single player stuff, so we'll get there in a minute. But generally speaking, I'm just trying to have fun. I talked with MDP yesterday. I wish he had written a response, but he made a comment that he'd rather play 100 2-hour games than a 200-hour slog of a game. Even though you might have a more robust experience with the 200-hour game, just rather have more small experiences. I know Rocker's the same now, but I do miss that long JRPG that I played growing up and stuff like that. One thing I am doing, which is also off topic, but since Switch was mentioned, I'm introducing my son to classic NES and SNES games that I grew up on, and that's just so much fun. And yeah, you don't worry about achievements. Although, if you're playing Zelda, you're trying to get all the pieces of heart and this and that. So there is some completionist stuff there, but that's good fun. Good fun. We're playing through the Zelda games right now. We're playing the Black Sheep.
So you're not taking the opportunity to have him run through an emulator so you can get achievements?
No, we're not playing on retro achievements.
Oh, okay.
We're playing on the Switch. I mean, we're making nice use of save states and rewinds, but we're getting through. We're playing the Black Sheep Zelda 2 right now, and that's another topic for another day. But yeah,
right. I mean, that's the
As you get
deal with
older,
achievements, though.
you want to experience more things. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's unfortunately the deal with achievements. Like, as cool as it would be to play a Zelda game with achievements, if they came up with a Legend of Zelda 2 achievement list that included a speed run, I don't know about that.
Right.
Like,
Deaths.
right. Like,
Right.
I've played the game. I liked it well enough. I would love to play. Like, I think today I'd be okay with it. I just, whatever, I'm not going to get the speed run achievement. But 4 or 5 years ago,
Mhm.
I really would have had to think twice before starting it, even as a game I like.
I agree with that entirely, actually. I feel like, the good old days, I just wouldn't have played it. And now, whatever, I'll play it and not get that achievement, and that's fine.
Oh,
Oh.
interesting that you said that because that came up. What's that game, Nate? The big one?
Oh, the big one?
The game that just added 402 gamer score?
I mean, that's like every Rattle-like, I don't know.
Oh. The DLC came out and it's got an uneven
Where's
gamer
it?
score and everyone's going crazy. 402
one of the
gamer scores.
the CRPGs on Windows 10.
It is
Yeah.
Grift of the Year? No, wait. Sorry. I'm reading the wrong thing. That happened. No, it says in the Big Con. The name of the
It's called
DLC
Big
is Grift
Ones.
of the Year.
Oh, right. The big
The
guy.
Big
It's
Con.
called-
Yes.
No.
Or
Oh, the Big
it says-
Con. Damn.
Yeah. It's 13
I
achievements
had the
for
name wrong. Yeah,
402.
Big Con. Right. So, of course, immediately everyone starts hounding the developer, trying to get them to fix it.
I like how they're telling them to fix it when it's
Yep.
not broken.
Yep.
Right. I mean, in
And the
this
developer.
case, yeah, I don't know.
Mhm.
In this case, you can't choose to not start it because if you've already started it, they spring this 402 on you. But they were engaging with the community on Twitter, and half the people were saying, "No, leave it, it's fine," and the other half the people saying, "No, I'm not going to play this game." It's just, ugh.
I feel like the real numbers are not half-half. The number of people screaming on Twitter probably is, but the real number of
Yeah.
people who actually are going to be stopped one way or the other is so small.
Mhm.
Again, they're loud on Twitter,
I
but such a small number compared to the entire potential game user base. They really don't care that much.
I can sort of confirm that just from talking to my students. They don't know what their gamer score is. Like,
Mhm.
it's not a thing that most people care about. So, hey, cool, I got the bleep bloop for 10. Okay, I'm never going to look at that. Oh, hey, I got the bleep bloop for 2. I'm still never going to look at that. And it's not going to bother, 98% of people.
It's too bad those kids are not going to pass this year.
Well, they already didn't pass last year, so they get me again next year. And I warned them all damn year that I only have one set of jokes, and they are not funny the second time. So
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
that'll be fun. I already have a couple. I'll be nice and call them noodles that failed me last year that I will have again next year. Joy.
I mean, I think we all.
Anyway, before we move
have-
on, Koosh,
Oh.
I have a question for you. When
ahead.
you mail out a letter, you know how you have to like lick the little tab thingy? Do you like sprinkle Old Bay on that before you lick it?
I mean, no, actually, my tongue is actually 98% Old Bay, so I don't need to add to it because you don't need 99%. That's crazy.
You see how random that was and had nothing to do with anything? Welcome to my 10th grade classes.
Oh, I think what we learned.
And we get our envelopes from McCormick. So
I think what
Nice.
we've learned from this question and what we kind of know going in some ways that if you're in a community like this one, the amount of your time you spend for gaming is probably unusually high anyway. I'm actually surprised more people didn't say along the lines of what Koosh was saying. And if Freem had responded, I'm guessing we'd see something similar, where what you begin to sacrifice is sleep. You're able to maintain like your gaming time, but it's because you're pushing later into the evening to make sure you have that couple hours to get your gaming in. And we start to prioritize that as, me time that I'm spending doing something I enjoy, where I'm kind of shutting out the noise of the world. And I'm surprised we didn't see more responses along that line.
Yeah, sleep is very important. I like naps, so I can stay up late and then complain that I'm tired. It's fun.
And then take another nap and complete the vicious cycle again.
Right, exactly. I like naps, sandwiches, and gaming, and showcasing gaming. All right, well, thank you for the question, Exe the Hero.
Sure.
Thanks for reminding us all that we are just getting older and older. And yeah, let's talk about some games. All right, Nate, you're up first with the game showcase game. I have a feeling this is going to be a good
yes. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm definitely not going to talk about What Remains of Edith Finch because I know we've talked about it before. And if we talked about it, we would just be giving too much away about how great of a game it is and how I knew that, but I'd been putting it off until I wanted to play it.
Oh.
And that's why we will not be talking about What Remains of Edith Finch and how it's awesome and you should go play it while it's on Game Pass. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I don't remember. Yeah, it showed up on my RTDL and I was like, I'm just going to get it done. Now's the time, and it was awesome, and I'm not going to talk about it. So, what I am going to talk about is Alba, a wildlife adventure. Has anyone heard of this?
No.
Just from you playing it, but no, not other than
I haven't even heard of it, no.
Okay, so this is a game by Us2 Games, developer with Plugin Digital, so I have never heard of them before. And it looked like a perfect kid-friendly game. And it is. This game is great. If you've got a little kid or you are a little kid yourself and you just enjoy joy, you land on this. You go to this. I guess you grew up on this island where your grandparents were. You visit them and then you go away for a while and you come back. And you're kind of like joining a friend that you made when you were there. And you're going on these adventures around the island, exploring. But since you've been away, a big developer has moved in and they're building a huge condo or a huge hotel. And they're just basically taking all the joy and all the good stuff out of the island and replacing it with things that'll make money. So while you're there, you are just, trying to get the island back to the state in which you remember it. The very first thing that happens once you get there is you meet your friend and then you just go on a quick run around the island, just remembering what everything is. And then you find an animal in distress. So then you have to go find 5 people and have them help free this animal. And as you do these sorts of things, it's just thing moves into thing. That's how they move the story along. It's fetch quest, go get pictures, take pictures of this, go explore this area, go pick up trash. Just fun little stuff like that. Doesn't sound like fun, right? It sounds like work. It sounds like community service, but it's actual fun community service where you're going around and you're doing this. Now, we had just talked about an achievement factory, and this was my first achievement factory. I did nothing in this game other than sit and advise. And I watched my daughter work her way through this game, and she completed this game all by herself in about 3 hours. So I didn't actually have to take the controls. Well, I took the controls maybe once or twice just to help with a section or something. But she was able to do this game by herself. And she's 8, almost 9. So that's great. I'm finally able to see her enjoy this type of game. And it was just a great time to sit down and watch and watch her kind of work through the things and discover, like, okay, well, this is how a modern game works, right? I'm free to go explore this island, but I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. So what do? You look at the quest log. Quest log tells you exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So it says, go to this place, go do this thing. So yeah, it's awesome. Went and did that. Just had a great time with this game. And she has been playing it nonstop on my account. So I can't do anything else while she's on that game. I did this to myself. But this game is great. As you are exploring the island, your little character is running, but then she alternates between like skipping and like putting her arms out like an airplane. It is just a joy to play this game. If you're looking for something fun, something lighthearted, this is a great game. I really had a good time with it. There's other games like it. I think Summertime in Mara is also
all right.
similar to this.
I haven't played that one, but I know that game. So that gives me a good... I get what you're talking about.
Yeah, I haven't played that yet, but that is kind of on the horizon for what I think I might point my daughter towards next, as well as the something we're going to talk about later in Games with Gold, I think is another game that might be able to steer her towards, because it's kind of similar to this. But it's a great game. And if, it's a little expensive if you were to buy it right now, full price, it's $20. But at the time I bought it, it was on sale. And it would be fun to play by myself, but it's also fun if you have a younger person who may be ready for this type of game.
So once your daughter got
This
through
looks fun.
Alba,
Yeah.
has she asked about, like, hey, can we work on something else, or has she really been like so into this she just wants to kind of continue playing?
No.
Okay.
No.
Nope. She just said, I'm going to do it again. I said, all right. You going to play it on your tag? Nope.
Oh.
Okay. I should also mention that the achievements in the game are all story based. So you're kind of moving through. Once you beat the game, you can go back and 100% everything if you want. You do have to get to certain percentage thresholds to kind of move the story along, but you don't have to get every picture of every animal on the island. You do have to get some. Some are like quest based, and once you get those, they do move the story along. So you don't have to 100% everything in the game. You don't have to pick up every piece of trash. But the completionist in me, well, I'm not a completionist, but the that tendency that I have to just want to find all those shinies makes me want to go back and just clean it up, even though she's beat it. So I'm going to wait till she's done with this game and stops talking about it. Then I'm going to go in and collect everything, probably. Probably not.
Now, did she take to the fact that you play as a young girl, or did she not, care about that?
She didn't care.
No,
she didn't really care. No. And I would, I started her off. With Phoenix, Phoenix Rising, and then we went to Alba. So we kind of did it backwards. But she sunk so many hours into that game. I just thought it'd be great to have a game that I didn't have to, jump in every now and then when there were a ton of monsters. I probably should have done it the other way around, but it doesn't really matter if it's a boy or a girl to her. But I think she does like that it's a girl. I didn't do that specifically for that. Right. I was looking for a game that she can play because it's the summer, and she wasn't in camp that week. She was sick. So I was like, I'm just going to find a game she can play and do this while I go do some work for a little while.
It is interesting to see, too, how Alba has just under 1,000 tracked gamers, but it has almost a 4 rating. And usually these games that are 2 to 3 hours, because so many people play them and just achievements and out, the people who bother to review them just give them like a 3 or 2.5 or whatever they give, sort of that. So it actually like sort of speaks well to the game that it's almost at a 4, and it's still a brief experience.
Yeah, it is a good game. It does not feel like a 2 to 3 hour game. And I can see that I've played it for 11 and a half hours. So,
I was actually going to ask that. Is that a 2-3 hour game from the achievement hunter point of view? I will steamroll the achievements. Or is that a 2-3 hour game for, a 9-year-old girl? Let me play and explore this game as the developers intended. It's probably longer.
Yeah, it's longer. It probably took 4 to 5 hours the first time through. And now she's just like, she's optimizing her path. She knows exactly where to go.
Strafing sideways and not turning the camera.
Yep.
She's going to be speed running.
She's jumping backwards because it's faster. She's speed running Alba, basically. Next year, we're going to enter her in Games Done Quick. So that's the plan.
All right. That was Alba. A wildlife adventure. Hopefully there's no hunters there. X.
Hey.
What game do you want to discuss?
I have 2. One is just a shorty. Roar is the name of the game. And I was kind of in just a blah mood the other day, and I was going through my list. I'm like, what is a game that I have to put literally just zero thought into? And then I saw that one, and I was not disappointed in that sense. It's 6 levels. The 6th one is impossible to beat. Just look it up. I'll spare you the details because I'm going quick here. It is literally, I don't know, 2.5, maybe 3 hours of just mashing the Y button and running between objectives. It is just completely mindless, technically hack and slash, but you only need to do one combo, which is mash the Y button. And that's it. You're a grumpy dinosaur who was woken up after a 65 million year nap, and you beat up aliens. And that's it. And it is objectively a horrible game. But if you just need to mindlessly mash the Y button, that's what that's the game that you need in your life.
That was such a great elevator.
That's all I got
pitch.
about that one. 65
million year nap and you're
Roar.
fighting aliens. Like that was. It's too bad the rest of it was terrible because that sold the game pretty well right there.
This game
It's
has
again, it
Rs
is
at the
objectively a bad game. It has 1.58 stars on TA. No one's completed it because the final boss pretty much 3-shots you. Every other enemy in the game, 30 shots you. Apparently one guy on TA has actually beaten the final boss, which is actually hella impressive. But then there's a glitched achievement. But you can get 800 gamer score for 1405 TA, which is like a 1.45 ratio. No, that's more than that. That's like 1.55 ratio, so not too bad. But it's a pretty bad game. It's just mash the Y button for 3 hours, and you'll be fine. If you're into that, go for it. Roar!
Of all the achievements to break, like, this is the dumbest. Defeating 1,000 enemies? So
Yeah, right?
you can't figure that out? Defeating 100 enemies works.
It's weird
Like,
because
that just seems...
people on Xbox have it unlocked, which I know there's, hacky, cheaty ways around that, but it's 3% of Xbox players have it unlocked, but 0 on TA. So I'm very confused and concerned by that statistic.
Those
but I didn't
numbers
look
are
into it
always
too much.
wrong.
Yeah.
I play some games where they say 100% on some.
Yeah, that's true. I've had
I don't believe those numbers. Yeah.
But yeah, that was my quick pitch. Again, mash Y button, roar, Jurassic Edition. It was pretty bad, and yet it was exactly the game I needed when I was having a bad day and just wanted to beat up some aliens. So that's that. The one I'm going to talk about, I suspect, will ruffle some feathers here. That is not my intention here. I'm just talking about my experience here, El. My brother and I played Halo 2 in the Master Chief Collection. I have never played Halo 2 before. And he lives in Virginia. He's in the Navy, so we played it on his weird 4 days working, 4 days off schedule over 3 days. We went through the campaign. We played on normal, which was nice because I'm bad at video games and he's really good at shooters. So I died a lot and then I kept just respawning on him. And I had fun playing games with my brother. I did not particularly have fun with Halo 2 because the mechanics were very dated. There's no sprint button. I'm sorry, that's unacceptable. Master Chief, you're this super badass, walking army, but you can't run. That's interesting. And I missed the entire story because we were in party chat and my brother was talking, and I have no idea what happened in any of the cutscenes or dialogue. So I enjoyed the social experience of talking to my brother, who I never really see or talk to, but that just really, really sort of confirmed that I hate co-op and multiplayer and being in parties if I'm trying to play games. That was a genuinely unenjoyable gaming experience. It was just go forward, shoot some bad guys, and then I die, and then I respawn, and then I shoot more bad guys, and then I die, and then I respawn, and there's a cutscene with like a giant tentacle octopus thing, but I don't know what happened, and then spawn, and then die, and then here we go again. Cool. Completed campaign. That was my Halo 2 experience, and I directly attribute it getting a poor rating in my book to being in party chat. Sorry.
So I would just say
I have lots of follow-up questions, but
go ahead. I just want to say that
you could go first.
It's probably more who you were in party with and what they were getting out of the experience in party chat itself. Like, I've played so many games in co-op where like a cutscene comes, a guy's cutscene, and everybody's just quiet and we watch the cutscene, and part of the fun of the game is we all just watch together like watching a movie. So I think I get what you're saying, and that's not your preference. I wouldn't try to sway you otherwise, but I think because this is your brother whom you don't get to speak to so frequently, and I'm guessing he's played the game before, so it wasn't as big a deal.
He said that he kind of ran through, what are there, 6 games? Yeah, he ran through all 6 of them while he was underway, but with the TV muted, and so he played them, but he didn't really play them.
Right, but he probably plays for different reasons than we would. Like, part of why we're playing is to experience the storylines and things like that. There are plenty of people who play shooters just to enjoy the mechanics of the game. So
I think he just wanted to shoot stuff, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I, again, would not twist your arm to try to do something outside of your comfort zone, because that's not how you like your games. But you can definitely enjoy a story-based game in party, as long as the people in the party are also there for that reason, and make sure that they stay quiet during cutscenes and things like that. That's all. So, Elle, I'm sorry I stepped over your questions, but I'm done with my my point.
No, and I agree with you 100%. That would be totally fair. I could have told him to shut up during the cutscene, but like you said, I honestly, I was enjoying just hanging out with my little bro. I never see him. I miss the guy.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if it makes you feel any better, I've played this game several times and I still have no idea what's going on.
All right, actually, that does make me feel a little better.
I don't know why. For some reason, the Halo games all just kind of mashed together in my mind. Michelle will get upset at this probably. I know she likes the stories, and I know Prue likes the stories.
Well, no. Like,
Halo, I like shooties.
Halo 1 didn't really have
I like
much
yours
of a
better.
story. So it, like, the novel of Halo 1, the guy was basically told, like, there's a universe, there's a game that kind of has a story, but we really want you to write the story that fills in these blanks. So the games themselves weren't really designed to be story heavy in mind. So no, that's fair to say that you didn't really pick it up, because that wasn't the intent. By the time it got to 3, there was a more developed story arc and the characters and what was happening and whatnot. And like you said, Elle, Gears was more about, like, we're going to actually try to write a story. And so it's very ham-fisted at the beginning, but that was the intention. Halo wasn't that way.
Right. More questions. Well, first, the point. Going back to that we're old. Halo 2 came out in 2004. So, that was 18 years ago. So, you're going to be 32. So, you're about 14.
I was 14 in 2004. That is correct.
There you go. I did maths. And I actually remember being at the midnight launch of Halo 2. Remember midnight launches?
Remember midnight? I do. I miss them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I would never go to one anymore, but just the
No,
concept
never
of
now.
them existing. I miss
Hold
the
on.
idea of them.
That's one of those old things. 15 years ago,
Mm.
we would have done them. But now, I will wait for digital delivery. But go on.
Oh, right. I was just saying that I
will
doing it.
interject. In 2013, I went to the Xbox One midnight launch. That was the last one I went to, actually.
I mean, to be fair, even with the digital delivery, it's like a midnight launch because you on the East Coast have to wait until like
3 in the
3
morning
a.m.
when I'm asleep
And-
already. All those West
That's
Coast.
Wow.
ridiculous.
That's
don't
why
have to wait
people
in the
travel
cold.
to New Zealand. Where do
Oh,
people
but,
go?
I mean,
New Zealand, yeah, you can.
Yeah,
you
some
can
people-
time
some people go
travel
to New
to
Zealand.
New Zealand and
Time
unlock it. I
travel,
think
yes.
at like 11 a.m.
Yeah.
the day before.
But they would give out like, I don't know, posters and whatever. They would give out stuff, and it would be people. And actually, what I remember is what they. I went to a video store. It wasn't even like a GameStop or whatever it was called back then. And everyone was. And we had there was a Halo 1 tournament, so they did some cool stuff there. And I just remember that. And back then, it was on like this small TV because TVs were small back then. But yeah, that was what's the opposite of a non sequitur? A sequitur. So
Nice.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was gonna ask more questions. So when you play with wifey, do you pay attention to the stories? Is it a different experience local?
I'm not dodging
'Cause you
your
do
question.
play-
I will answer your question. Yes, Kelsey and I play games. If it
You do
has
play
a
story
story,
games.
we pay
Yes.
attention to the story. We
Uh-huh,
shut up
uh-huh.
and watch the cutscenes together.
Mhm.
But to like specifically with Halo, my brother got Halo 3 back on 360 when it came out, and we played that in person. Shut up for the cutscenes, and I actually remember most of that. That was 2006. We played Halo 1 back in 2015, couch co-op, and again, there wasn't much, but I remember playing it. And then again, just the party chat, constant talking. I just played the game 3 days ago, and I really don't remember much about Halo 2, so... Again, I'm not blaming party chat. It was just the talking and the socializing was the
Of
priority
course.
here. So I do like following the story.
I wonder
when the
I wonder if
intention
you-
is to enjoy a game. As
I
it's
wonder
intended, we
if
enjoy
you
the
would have
story.
had a better time. I mean, you probably wouldn't, but I wonder if you had played multiplayer together, like co-op multiplayer, where you could just talk whatever and just shoot stuff, and not have to worry about the story.
We've done that in
just
the
saying, it's
past
an option.
with Gears, and my brother is super competitive. He has, his right stick on, instant. You twitch it, and it, you spin 720 degrees, kind of thing. And yeah, we can't play together because I'm really bad, and he just gets really frustrated with me.
If only there were other people you might know that enjoyed
Like who?
this type of gaming. I don't know.
I don't know.
If only there
anybody.
was. That's
No,
what I'm saying.
I
If
do
only
not,
there was.
I don't enjoy multiplayer. That's
We know.
that's a separate conversation, though. I'm specifically focusing on the co-op experience here. I do not enjoy multiplayer at all.
Well, one good thing about multiplayer Halo is that if one of you dies, then you could respawn.
What about
Solo.
co-op Halo? Yeah.
You die. Right. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a saving grace because
Yes.
if that didn't happen, I died all the time, and we were playing on normal. And go ahead and make fun of
Uh-huh.
me. I died
Oh,
all the
I
time
won't.
on normal.
Right.
But he
Not
was
easy.
able to, just run back into the previous room, and then I could spawn. So he was.
You played on Master Chief Collection, I assume?
Yeah. So he probably got 75% of the kills. And I
Did you
was
try
just there
hitting
for
the
more
back
support.
button to see what old Halo 2 looked like?
Yes, I did. I actually, I don't know if I should admit to this, but at one point I was playing in the old mode, and I thought it looked
Didn't
pretty
realize.
damn good.
Oh.
Obviously, once I switched, it was, oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
figured it
what was I thinking? But there are definitely some spots where the old version actually has more detail, like etchings in the wall versus just a concrete slab in the new one. So I thought that was interesting that some parts of the remaster were actually worse looking.
That is weird. Was there anything you want to say, like achievement-wise or anything like that? Or...
Yeah, my brother is not an achievement hunter,
Mhm.
really at all. He actually, he modded. I don't think I've ever shared this on the podcast. He modded his gamer score back in, 2009, 2010.
Mhm.
With one of the profile editors. So he logged out and then like 6 minutes later logged back in with like 56,000 more gamer score, and then immediately got reset to 0 to the point that he actually today cannot earn 360 achievements. They'll pop for him, but it doesn't add to his score.
Wow.
So he can
Wow.
only have Xbox One achievements. So he's not an achievement hunter. But we got all the terminals and all the miscellaneous achievements as we went through the levels. So he did that
That's cool.
exclusively for me. It was like, hey, if I'm gonna play through, let's find the things. Let's find the dolls and the do the random go out of the map thing. So that was fun in that sense. So we did do that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I remember you asking if achievements were host only, and I was going to say one thing that Halo does well is that it shouldn't be host only for most of the things.
Yeah, that was, and then a bunch of other people chimed in that night. They were having issues too, so that was an Xbox thing, not a Halo.
So you got it.
We figured
that
out
it going.
pretty quickly. Yeah, we figured that out pretty quickly.
Good.
But yeah, I don't know. The socialization, I will concede, it was nice chatting while playing a game that I otherwise would have played alone in a dark room. But I didn't get any of the story, and I don't know.
And you missed nothing.
Just not for me. And the game was really dated. I think once we get to Halo 4, Halo 5, just mechanic-wise, I'll be able to appreciate it a little more.
All right, well, I guess that could lead into my game, which I finally started the campaign for Halo Infinite. And I really wanted to wait for multiplayer or co-op, but 343 ain't going to give it to you. So
That's
so
dumb, but I love it.
It's bad. Yeah, and I gotta say that I'm gonna have to agree with a lot of your points. That I can't imagine Halo now without sprinting, without the Titanfall style clambering, and Halo
Please
Infinite
tell
also
me-
adds.
Please tell me in the new games that when I click left stick, it zooms in and doesn't chuck a plasma grenade on my brother.
Okay, now about that, in Master Chief Collection. I mean, you could change it to. I mean, that's on you. You had it on Legacy, and you could have changed it.
No, well aware. You can change it to.
Yeah.
I think of any of the games, right? But
In Halo 5, they made the default where left trigger, like a normal game.
okay,
But you have to understand that even back in Halo 1, left trigger was grenade, and pushing in right stick is zoom. And it makes no sense, but that's what I'm used to, so that's generally how I keep it.
yeah, I grenade killed myself and my brother
Oh.
far too many
Yes.
times. Like,
Yes,
hey,
the buttons
stupid,
are
let me
weird.
zoom in and shoot you in the back of the head just for lulz. Whoops! I threw a grenade. Now we're dead.
Yeah, it's like sprint is X and reload is on right bumper. This makes no sense, but that's what I'm used to.
So anyway, Halo Infinite, you finally played it.
Yeah, I finally played it, and the greatest new addition that is very fun is the grapple shot, which is you can swing around and climb up buildings, and it's very cool, very cool. So the thing about Halo Infinite is that it's more open world like. So you have a huge map, and you can fast travel around the map, find all the collectibles, of which there are hundreds. So many audio logs and other things like that. On TA, though, I've said this before, the campaign counts as DLC, which is just all kinds of backwards. So it's very confusing. So it wouldn't show up in Warboats, and I wanted to show up in Warboats, but it did show up in RTDL finally because we have DLC now. And I don't know. I'm enjoying it far more than I thought I would. There is a story. There's a lot of
Would you
bosses.
perhaps say that you're having?
Yeah, I'm having fun, and I'm playing
Why
by
can't
myself.
I say that word?
I mean, I'm allowed to say it. I have all the stroke around here. There was a very fun achievement with a great name called Whip Riding the Ghost, which is, I guess, the opposite of Ghost Riding the Whip. So what you do is you grapple shot an enemy who's riding a ghost, and then you steal the ghost from him. It's a lot of fun to do.
That actually seems pretty cool, given that I just jump on top and then punch them to death in Halo 2.
That's the old style. You can steal their ghosts. I mean, Halo Infinite, what can you say? It was delayed so many times, and depending on who you talk to, people might still think it sucks or it's unfinished, and they probably have a point, but So
I
far,
think
so
people
good to
are
me.
enjoying the multiplayer, right? And that's what the focus on Halo is anyway.
Yep. I know Koosh was addicted to it when it first came out, and Rocker. And there's the whole battle pass thing, which is what you see in the free-to-play games, one of which we might discuss later. And yeah, just so far so good. I am following the TA walkthrough, I have to admit, to make sure I don't miss any of the audio logs and the Spartan cores and all the other collectibles. Even though you could easily clean that up later, I don't think anything's missable. But if the earlier you get them, the earlier you can upgrade your stuff. So the Spartan cores upgrade your grapple shot and all the some of the other goodies that you find. But yeah, it's beautiful looking, and it's got just enough new stuff and then just enough old nods to the old games, like an old music track might kick in that you didn't expect, because it's been mostly new music the whole time.
Ooh, I will interrupt you to point out the soundtrack for Halo 2. That was fire. I enjoyed that heck out of that. I will say that.
Yeah, heck. Yeah, there
Have
was
you-
a Breaking Benjamin song. I know, Michelle, you were probably going to say that.
Yep.
No, I wasn't.
There was a Breaking Benjamin song in the original. Oh, yeah. In the original Halo 2, they had a cool Breaking Benjamin song. And then
I've seen them play that song live.
Oh yeah. You know it. But I think they
Blow
took
Me
it
Away,
out
I
for
think,
Master...
or Throw Me
Yep.
Away.
Yeah, Blow Me Away. But unfortunately, they took it out of Master Chief Collection.
Damn copyrights.
Very sad, very sad. Go ahead, Em.
So I know one of the complaints that, let me take a step back. Halo, I think, is one of those franchises that has a large group of core players who started playing at Halo 1 and remember the LAN parties and the early days of it. And there's pretty much nothing that will ever be done with the new development that will ever make the game any good, because it's not the game they had to drag 360s and TV, or original Xboxes, pardon me, and TVs to be able to play. So there's a whole thing about that. There are people who don't like it. But one complaint about Halo 4 that I think was pretty much universally an issue was that the new weapons in the game were not great. I know they've introduced some new weapons into Halo 5 because they're available in the multiplayer, which I have played, like the skewer and whatnot. Have you encountered any of that in the game? Are they like the grapple hook mechanic is cool and that's new to the game? But I was curious if you've encountered any new weaponry and how that weaponry feels to you.
I would say most of the weapons are fun to use, and one of the modes in multiplayer is called Fiesta, which whenever you die, you start with 2 random weapons, so you get to experience all the different weapons. But when you play Fiesta mode, it's just a ton of fun. So instead of starting with the assault rifle and the shotgun every time, you start with 2 just different weapons, and there are different achievements tied to kills with the weapons. So yeah, I've had no problems with the weapons. They've been fun to use, varied up. Good question. But as an overall package, I think it's good, especially on Game Pass. You know, $60 at launch, it would have been a tough sell.
I feel like that's an entirely another conversation that I don't want to dive into.
Yeah, don't do it.
Hole.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I don't
you
think
definitely value games differently for free versus when you pay $60 for them.
absolutely.
Right,
We don't need to
and
discuss it, but yeah, that's a valid point.
Right, and I don't think that $60 would be an absolutely no price if we didn't have like we would have bought Halo at full price to play it, and we might have even played it. So
Right.
But the trade-off there is you would hope if they're releasing it at full price that everything comes out as it's supposed to. They kind of get like a pass in some ways because it is in Game Pass, and so all right, I'm not paying for the product specifically. But yeah, whole other conversation.
Yeah, I bought the disc of the Master Chief Collection, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mess.
Yep.
I'm
That was
glad
just
I waited 7 years.
Yeah.
To play it then.
No, you did a smart thing. It was really broken for a good year.
Well, the matchmaking
Or
and
a
stuff
bad
was
year,
broken.
as it were.
If you want to just jump in and play a game, it worked fine. But if you wanted to play online with people, like the matchmaking was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And not just matchmaking in terms of like playing a multiplayer game, but even just getting into a lobby together with people to play a co-op campaign. It was so bad.
Well, I am curious to hear people's takes on Halo Infinite. If you have any, let me know. I'm only a few hours in, Not quite sure how long it is. I don't think it's that long. But I am curious to keep going with it. It's pretty good.
Well, actually, I have another question
right.
because I keep hearing.
Yep.
Sorry, before you finish talking about Halo Infinite, because I keep hearing that it's open world. But when I think of Halo gameplay, I think of like you're doing a level. You know, there's sort of a linear path, and then you walk backwards through that linear path. So is there none of that? There's not like a hub world, and then you go into areas, or you take a quest, and now you've got this sort of linear thing. Like it's all just open world gameplay.
Well, it starts off like the Halo you're used to, and then if you make your way into the open world, and then basically there's a swarm of enemies. You clear them out, you get a checkpoint, and then there will be tunnels and stuff too, the inside places, yes, that are more of what you're thinking of. So you're not entirely off base.
Okay.
But it's just one big map overall. But yes, there's little sections that contain, I guess, what is kind of like a level or a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So it's...
Yeah.
There's a word for that it was in my brain, and then it disappeared when I went to talk. It's like instanced?
Poop.
Kinda?
Not quite sure how the enemies work like that.
Because isn't
I don't think
instance-based gameplay more like Destiny, where like you're kind of sharing a world map with people, and then an event will drop down on everyone? Like, I think it's open world, but you don't share that open world with anyone except for someone you've invited to a multiplayer game.
Gotcha. Okay, I thought he was describing like World of Warcraft, where it is giant open world, but then you walk in, you open a door and there's a whole dungeon, essentially. A whole level in this case.
However, it does do that annoying MMO type thing where if you go to pause the game and there's enemies around, they'll still hit you.
Oh, no.
I hate that. Why?
Oh, that's awful. I died a lot of times in Halo 2 because of that. Like, hey, I gotta check the cat. Oh, pause doesn't
yeah, like I'm not even playing online. Why is it doing
Well, like usually in games that you play solo, that doesn't happen unless it has drop-in, drop-out gameplay enabled.
Right.
So if you disable it, usually you can pause just fine. So even with all that disabled, it's still...
You can pause with start. Like you could do a hard pause, but if you're looking at the map with select or whatever back button.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And if something attacks you, it's still attacking you.
Okay.
But you can pause it if you need to step away. Yes, with start. But if you're looking up something, you can get attacked.
You just gained a lot of respect for calling it the select button. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is.
It's a generational thing.
Always.
Start and select. I will never call it
the menu button.
Menu and share button or whatever.
I think it's menu and home.
Hamburger and boxes.
And now we have capture. So we need to capture some past glory or some new glory. Your turn, Michelle. That was a terrible segue. Go ahead.
That wasn't even a segue. That was just, okay, I'm done, go.
That was a crash.
No.
That was a little different, but that's okay. I'm going to speak super briefly about one game, and then we'll jump into a little more meatier topic. So I, a couple weeks ago, had talked about playing In, which was a very basic puzzle game. And this past week, I started playing Garoons, which is developed by the same people, or published by the same people. And I didn't realize before I started it that the achievement lists are the same, meaning that it's like 65 achievements, and each achievement is finish World 1, finish World 2, finish World 3. So it's a good game for someone who likes to maintain an achievement streak, because you can kind of drip feed that. Garoons is also a simple puzzler. In each level, there are 4 creatures, and with each of the face buttons, A, B, X, and Y, you morph the creature into a different type of creature. So the creature on the A button jumps when it comes next to something. The creature on the B button is like a heavy creature that will attach to the edge of platforms to make bridges. And all of the gameplay is just about switching the different Garoons, I suppose they are, and getting them into the end of the level. Now, within... I didn't really understand how multiplayer worked. I didn't play it that way. But it looks like in Garoons, it's also a co-op puzzle game, which is why Elle had recommended it as a sale game some time ago. It looks like each player controls one of the 4 creatures. So you can play it in multiplayer, but it doesn't really make anything easier or really change the gameplay. It's still just kind of figuring out how to morph them to get to the end of the puzzle. So, real quick take on that. Fine for what it is. I think it's $4.99 full price. Sometimes the bundle of the 2 games goes on sale. So if you like easy puzzle games, if you like games that have lots of achievements in them for various reasons, whether it's maintaining achievement streaks or it's for contest purposes, these are a good pair of games to get. They're both very, very completable as well. That out of the way, what I've actually spent most of my gameplay time on, and Elle sort of alluded to this being discussed earlier, is Fall Guys, because it's a free-to-play game. Elle, I know you've played it. Koosh, you've played it as well, correct?
Oh yeah.
And X, I'm assuming you have zero interest in Fall Guys.
I wouldn't say zero interest. It's a game that I think would be fun to dabble in.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be my usual style, but so many people are talking about it. It has certainly piqued my interest, and that, of course, is spelled Piquedl.
Thank you, English teacher.
I know that.
So for those of you not familiar with Fall Guys, it is a multiplayer game where you play as these characters called beans, and you run through various races or do various survival levels. It's puzzle style, and as you go through them, the top X number get promoted to the next round and the rest get eliminated. So you're trying to win these episodes as you go through, and it's just fun. Like, I don't really have more articulate words to use for it. I've played both on my own as just, and so for you, X, like, I have just jumped into random squads, or I've played solos. I've had so much fun with that. I've played a lot with my brother. We've had a blast playing it. I do enjoy it more playing with somebody else in the party, because once you complete an area or complete an episode, you can watch your teammates and you can kind of cheer them on or jeer them on, depending on how you're feeling that day. But yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He doesn't mess up the story for you?
Right, there's no story, so you don't have to worry about people talking over things. And it's very much one of those just one more. Like, an episode can take anywhere between 2 minutes and probably about 10 if you get all the way to the final round, and it depends on the types of games that show up in there. But it's just a blast. Like, we have such a good time playing it, and I feel like I'm not particularly good at it, but as not particularly good at it as I am, I've managed to finish first a couple times. Because there's just so much. There's typically about 60 people playing at the beginning of each game, so there are just so many strange things that can happen. You can squeeze out a win. Now, we talked earlier about achievement lists and how achievement lists can factor into things. If you are a completionist, at least initially, this achievement list doesn't look super forgiving. There are some things in there like finish first in 5 consecutive episodes, or finish first in 20 races, and I'm a little over the place. There are different types of games. Race is a type of game. Survival is a type of game. Team is a type of game. So on and so forth. Most of the games you'll play are races. I think I finished first in a race a couple times with a squad, but not solo. So I have 0 credit toward that. The game does not track. But it doesn't matter. I don't even care about the achievements. I'm just playing and having a great time, and I'll get whatever I get, and maybe in 2 years the popularity will die down and you can get people together in groups and kind of rig that stuff. But I'm not even concerned about it because I am having a blast. Elle, Koosh, I know you both have played. I think you both played together. So what are your thoughts on Fall Guys?
You go first, Nate.
All right. So yeah, I played it. I first, I knew Rocker was really into this. So I was like, hey, let's do some duos. All right. You got some time tonight? And he's like, yeah, my normal Friday crew bailed on me, so we're doing it. Awesome. So go in, I'd been playing a little bit, I guess, on release date, and just had a lot of fun with it. I knew that this was a game that I wanted to at least check out, Fast and Furious when it first came out. I wasn't going to pay money for the game, buying it ahead of time before it went free to play. I went in, had a lot of fun. I knew that if they kept the spirit and they were able to get everything to work in the Xbox version that was on the PC version, it was just going to be fun. And it is. And you play it, it's like Takashi's Castle. Mm-hmm. There's even a level that's ripped straight from it. It's going through the breakable doors. And so it's great when you're doing that, except for when you're the one banging into the wall and everybody runs around you. But yeah, fun game. And then all of a sudden, Hawkeye Berry jumps on. He's been going crazy on this game too. And we're like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll do it. And we're playing for a little bit, and then all of a sudden L pops on. I'm like, oh, okay. So we got quads going now, and we're going through. And I got to tell you, I'm a little surprised, L. You did a pretty good job. I'm not convinced that it wasn't Tyler playing for you. But yeah, so just so you know, like even L, who puts himself down for his gameplay ability, we did a good job as a quad. We got a crown.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a crown on our the very first day of L playing it, and it was. I mean, it's an awesome game.
That means
really
we won.
Yeah, exactly. It means that we won the
Last
entire.
squad standing.
Yeah, we won the whole shebang. So we did like 5 mini games or whatever, and we were the top team of 4. And of course, Rocker was the last one in. So that he kind of carried us to victory there at the end. But he has the most experience in the game. But so yeah, it is a skill-based game, but it's a skill-based game. It's like taking NFL players who are really good at what they do, and then putting them in sumo suits and saying, okay, now let's play, right? So yes, there's a level of skill, but it's encased in a fat man suit, and you bounce off of things, and when you fall, you roll, and you have to get up. So it you make one mistake, or a mistake happens to you, and then that kind of messes up your whole run. So you can't, it's not like, oh, only the person who's the best at this game is going to win. No, like anybody could win. If they're familiar with the levels, anybody could win.
Well, there's also,
because there's a lot that can go wrong.
There's also something to be said for how the starting grid is. So typically in a level that it'll be 5 rows of 12. But if you're in that back row, you are at a disadvantage to start. You can make up the time, so it doesn't mean that you're automatically going to lose. But especially in that door level, there's very little you can do to catch up because it's a straight shot. So the starting grid plays quite a bit into how you wind up finishing in some of the races.
It's true, but something I need to remind myself is that it's better to not fail on your way through the level than it is to to continuously beat your head against literally a door. Because that will just cause you to do a section over and over and over again. But if you take a little bit more time and dodge that obstacle instead of just running into it and hoping you get through, that might pay off dividends down the road. Something to pay attention to. I don't know what Elle's going to talk about. If you have an Amazon Prime sub, you can get Amazon gaming cool stuff by linking this account. I got a ton of kudos by linking my Prime account to this, and you should do it right away because there's a costume or 2 that are going away, and there'll be more coming down the line. But the current period of when you can redeem these things is just about up, and it might be up at the time of this recording. I don't know. You got to check. So you can get cool stuff that way, and some of those costumes might work towards the achievements in terms of their rarity and putting them on. But the kudos will definitely help you with purchasing basically the collectibles, the the nameplates, the costumes, the colors, all that stuff. So you can get a lot of help by having an Amazon Prime sub, and you can make progress towards the achievements that way. Now, I know I mentioned that with Diablo Immortal, I wasn't going to pay any money, and I would never pay money for a free-to-play game. Well, I have already paid money for Fall Guys because it just sucked me in, and I had a whole ton of fun with it, and I really wanted some of the stuff that was in the season pass. So I went ahead and I bought a starter pack, and the starter pack gave me a little bit of stuff, but it also gave me 1,000 show bucks, and the 1,000 show bucks I immediately put towards the season pass. And if you get far enough in the season pass, it will pay for itself for the next month or the next season or whatever. Now, I don't think I'm going to keep doing that. I'm just going to do it at the very beginning when I'm hot and heavy and really into the game, get all the stuff, to get everything I can out of the season pass initially. Because if you want to get all the achievements, you really have to grind, and you're going to be grinding on this for a long time on the completely free track. Now, maybe that Amazon Prime sub helps, but I was just like, I know me. I'm going to be hot and heavy for a couple weeks, and I'm going to be doing my dailies and my weeklies, but it's going to die off. So I just want to get as much as I can right now. I really enjoy the game, and I enjoy it so much, I actually paid for it once again, completely going against what I just said. I paid money for a free-to-play, and I'm happy. Elle, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for letting me jump in on Friday night. It was a good time with you and Corey and Hawkeye. And my thoughts, I had a lot of fun. There was only one level that I couldn't figure out, like the underwater level. But I guess the random nature of the game is good and bad. But I liked that right away you were figuring out shortcuts and things to do. And there is a lot to be said also. When you die, you watch the other players to see what they're doing and try to learn some tricks. So repetition is important. You just keep going and you learn the levels and learn the layouts. And I think there's even a couple of times where you were first place overall, finishing some of them.
Yeah, I
know you don't like to toot your own horn. I'll toot it for you.
Yeah. I did. Yeah, I had been having a lot of trouble, in the first days I've played this, getting the first place in races consistently. And then I actually ended up getting like 2 or 3 that night, just getting first place across the race line. And what led to that was just experience with the game. Like, you can be doing great. You could played a ton of these levels and be doing great. And then all of a sudden you get a level you've never seen before. And that, record scratch, that's the end of your run, because you don't know it and everybody else does. So you don't know where the bottlenecks are. You don't know where that surprise hammer is or that surprise flip pad. So have fun, play the game, learn the levels. The more you play it, the better you're going to get at it. And this is a great game for quads, because it really is a lot of fun. I don't do a whole lot of multiplayer gaming, but it was a ton of fun. So even people, hint, hint, who don't like to group up and play games might like to group up and play this game.
That was directed at me, and yeah, honestly, I can see myself giving it a shot. It's totally not in my wheelhouse, but it looks fun. It really does.
Yeah, and you can join a squad without having to join party with them, and see how well you do without communicating with them. I guess you don't really need to communicate.
That seems threatening.
Yeah, the one thing I don't know. I don't really get paying for anything. Unless you really want cosmetics and stuff. But if you're gonna play it a lot, then I get it. Like, there was a time I played for the rocket.
You don't want the Gato Roboto suit.
Oh my goodness. No, I don't want the Gato.
They put in. If you have FOMO, if you have FOMO, they might have a guacamole at some point with everything else they have. If you have FOMO, do not go in the store, because they have really cool stuff. I would say stay away from that. Go the Amazon Prime route and get your rares and your epics and stuff that way. So you're not tempted to buy all the super cool stuff. Oh, speaking of which, there's a Halo event.
Oh, yeah.
Going on I think the 30th. I think it's 2 days from now. In game, you're going to be able to get Spartan gear. So you're going to have a little bean dressed like a Halo Spartan. That just sounds cool. And I don't like Halo.
Stop it.
Do you like beans?
I do love beans.
You were full of crap. You played Halo Infinite.
I have no memory of this.
You answered that so quickly. I did not.
One thing. Got the Xbox One, the Steam one, and the PlayStation one.
It's because I don't pay for free-to-play games, except for when I do.
Right.
Except for when I do.
$200 worth of Diablo Immortal gold. There was an article on TA that said Fall Guys had 20 million players after just 48 hours. That is pretty crazy. Because I remember hearing about this game like 2 years ago when quarantine started. And it's like, okay, this game's supposed to be pretty fun. And then I thought it was just old hat, but no. People are playing it and people are enjoying it.
Yeah, I remember, like you were touching on earlier, Koosh, like I remember Corey talking about it early, because this game has also been rumored and then eventually confirmed, and it took a long time to finally get to available on Xbox. And so it feels like it's been a long time coming. In fact, I know you had said when Fall Guys first came out on Xbox, your son's reaction is, "Oh, it's a dead game," because it had already been out for so long elsewhere. But it's definitely revitalized. It's always populated, at least when I've... What's that? No,
You told me to swear. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh. But definitely, there's plenty.
Explain
There
the
are plenty of people playing the game, and it's a blast. It's really a lot of fun. I don't know. I don't know that I see myself playing this consistently over like a long period of time, but it sort of is in that Rocket League pocket where it's like this will be a fun game where if you have a whole group in a party to be like, does anyone want to just jump in and play a couple rounds?
Yeah, it seems perfect for that. All right, well, that was Fall Guys. Excellent array of games. I keep thinking it's a Game Pass game, but it's not. It's just a free to play. So
No, just free to play.
I guess, yeah, it'll just be free forever. Free falling. All right, well, instead of games that are free, we could talk about games that are almost free. And we can have some sales talk. Now, today, the day of recording, there was the aforementioned Games Done Quick competition. Well, not really competition. There's basically people bragging about how well they do. Now, what they do is they go through old games fast and they try to get money for stuff. And I think there was a Mega Man block. And I know I brought up Mega Man recently, but this time the Super Duper Uber collection is on sale. And that's got both Mega Man Legacy collections and both Mega Man X Legacy collections. So that's 4 games in each of those. So that's 16 games.
I
Plus,
have a Mega Man Legacy.
Plus Mega Man 11. So 17 games. And it's 50% off at $30. I saw a lot of people inexplicably tell me, and I'm sure there's someone in this room as well, that they've never played a Mega Man game. So I think now $30. Or if you want to get some easy gamer score games, there's 3 Paugy games for sale. Ladders, Mix-Ups, and One Word are all $4 instead of $8. My wife and I usually play the Paugy games together, and we just go through all the levels. We don't just do the achievement levels. That's silly. Unless they show up on Warboats, then you do that level. But otherwise, you do all the levels. Not worry about the achievements. All right, X, how about you?
Well, I have one that I'm personally recommending and one that I'm just sort of pointing out. So the one that I'm just pointing out is the Play Something Different Volume 1 bundle. It is on sale for $3.74, down from $25, and it contains 3 games which, not on sale individually, would be $52. So, according to MSRP, $52 worth of games for $3.74, not too bad. It includes Golem Gates. I don't know any of these games, by the way. I can't personally recommend them. It just seems like a cool deal. Golem Gates. It's a tough-looking RTS game. Spectrum, which appears to be like a spiral splatter kind of. That sort of thumbstick platformer. I could be wrong. Call me out if I am. And Verlet, I don't know. It could be a different language. Swing, which by all accounts is an incredibly difficult, tough as nails platformer that seems, right up Waka or a Woo's alleys. But I mean, $52 worth of games for $3.74, and it's literally called the Play Something Different bundle. It caught my attention. I might just buy it for $3.75 and probably never play them.
And play something different.
What we do, but yeah, play something different, man. But I don't know. I saw a couple people talking about that in Discord, so it seems like the discount did its job. My voice just cracked. That's embarrassing. But the one that I would actually recommend, I've talked about on this podcast before, and that would be Hidden Through Time, which I adore that game. Honestly, it's $4 on sale, down from $8. So 50% discount. If you are into quick games, you can do it in about 90 minutes following a guide. It is a hidden object puzzle. Not quite like the Artifex Mundi ones, but sort of just big maps and you got to find random things. They don't move. So if you're into that, you could just follow a video guide. It seems like it'll take you about 90 minutes. It's only 1122 TA. But I played it with Kelsey legitimately. And according to TA, it took us 6 hours and 47 minutes, and we had a blast with it. We enjoyed every single second of it. And it was only Only when we were on Blaster. Only when we were on the last level. I think Elle mentioned in chat, like, good thing about that hint system. Huh? So yeah, there's a hint system. If you can't find something, there's hints for every single object. We did not know that. And it took us about 7 hours without that. So I think if you're playing legitimately not following a guide using the hint system, probably 4 or 5 hours. But if you have little kids, kind of like Koosh was saying earlier, I feel like that'd be a fun game your daughter would enjoy. Just find the things. Kelsey and I loved it. We had a blast. We loved every second of it. And I would recommend that in a heartbeat, as I've done on the show before, probably 2-3 years ago at this point. But yeah, we loved every second of it. Hidden Through Time. $4. Go buy it.
All right. Nate, what tabs you got open?
Well, I'm trying to recommend a game for X here. I can't remember the name of it, but it's very similar, and I will do that after the show.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
black
I'm
and white
looking
one?
forward to it.
What I'm going to recommend is Dead Cells. I know I've never talked about this game before. Dead Cells is on sale. Dead Cells just dropped some extra DLC. Dead Cells has other DLC, and I haven't been paying too much attention. I've been following it too closely. My understanding is that this latest DLC adds I've forgotten the term for it. Some handicapping. Why can't I? Accessibility modes. So it basically makes the game a little bit easier with regards to the achievements. It makes the game more forgiving. It's not as tough as nails. And what a great time to get in when it's easier. It is a great game. It is so smooth, the animation on this game. It's beautiful. Let's go talk about prices. The DLC is typically $5 per DLC. The Bad Seed, which means nothing to you, is now $2.49 down from $5. Fatal Falls is $3.49 down from $5. And the Queen in the Sea is brand new, and it's $5 down from $5. So, so obviously no sale there. But you might want to check it out. It looks great. If you've been waiting because it's too hard, maybe you might want to check out and read some reviews on the Queen and the Sea DLC and the accessibility modes. I want to recommend, this is just a hunch, I have no idea, but A Plague Tale: Innocence is $10 down from $40. The new game is coming out in October? I think is when it's being released, straight into Game Pass. I am worried that this game is going to leave Game Pass and I'm not going to have time to complete it, or I'm going to feel rushed. And it is a good game from what I have played. If you're not into stealth, maybe you don't think it's a good game. And I get that because I'm not a huge fan of stealth, but this is a really well done game. And $10 down from $40 is a great price to check it out if you're interested. And then also a hunch. I've seen a trailer and maybe a little bit of gameplay for a game called Road 96. It's $14 down from $20. After my fantastic experience of experiencing What Remains of Edith Finch, I'm very interested in finding another game that could possibly get me 80% of the way to the satisfaction that game gave me. And I think Road 96 might have a chance of getting somewhere in that B range. So maybe check it out, see if that's for you, and then wait for the price to drop down to a stupidly low price, lower than $14. But that's what I'm bringing.
So you liked Edith Finch, huh?
I don't want to talk about it.
Sorry. Michelle?
You don't want to tell us how much you liked Edith Finch?
So I'm not going to talk about a sale game. I'm just going to talk really briefly or give just a shout so that people know that at least for a very limited time, only one day after this episode drops, Tell Me Why, the first 3 chapters, which is the first episode, is free. I think that's what's free, but I'm not 100% sure because I just kind of had this dropped on me to talk about. Hold on one second. It's just, it looks like it's just episode 1, which is normally $20.
It's
but that's chapters 1 through 3. That's included in there. It's free because the Tell Me Why is the first game by a major publisher that featured a transgender lead. And since it's Pride Month, this is a way to promote the game and also to just increase the visibility of, non-typical sort of protagonist characters. So you can grab that. It is in Game Pass, so you still do have access to it, but this is a way to make sure that you have access to it if it should ever leave the service.
And just to clarify, because I just looked it up myself, it is chapters 1 to 3, which is free, which is the entire game. There
Oh,
are
is
only
it?
3
Okay.
chapters.
It's the whole game.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yep,
sure
it
because
is
it says
the entire game.
Yeah.
It is yours to keep for free.
if you read the description, it says, "Tell me why chapters 1 through 3, episode 1 is now free." So I not 100% sure.
That's
it was just
probably
a little...
like the description in the store.
Right,
Probably
it says
chapter 1 is always
chapter
free,
1's usually
and then you
free.
buy 2 and 3. Yeah, but yeah, the
Yeah.
whole game. You can get the whole game for free.
Well, but yeah,
Yeah, I
if
hadn't heard
you...
about this, so
Yeah, I wasn't
That
aware
was
of this
interesting.
either. And
Yeah,
once
I
again,
missed it as
most of us
well,
have Game Pass and have access, but it's a good way to keep
who
access
knows when it's
beyond
going to go
that.
away. So I clicked redeem because why not? Didn't tell me why not to. All right. Well,
Nothing
we
but
did
a
get some.
heartbreak?
We did get some good news today, and we learned the new Games with Gold games for July.
Oh, I actually missed these. This is going to be a surprise for me.
All right. Well, Even Colony and Rascals are going away on June 30th. So if you listen to this podcast when it comes out, you have right now to go get it. But in July, we have Beasts of Maravilla Island. And for the 360, Thrillville Off the Rails. July 16th, there's Relicta. And I believe Torchlight, which is, I believe, a repeat. I talked fondly about Torchlight a few weeks ago. I really liked it. I don't know too
Just
much
to,
about the other one, so yeah, Nate, if you do.
I was alluding to Beasts of Maravilla Island. I have no idea how to pronounce
I like
that.
saying Maravilla, but you know, you're probably right.
There you go.
Maravilla, yeah.
Maravilla, amor.
That game. I'm shaking my fingers at you. So that game is the one that I was thinking is a little bit like Alba. I think it's a little bit more aged up from Alba. Let's just say it's aged up 2 steps. It looks like it has more puzzles than Alba does, but that might be something that I'm thinking about pushing my daughter off towards. But on her own account, I want to earn my own stuff. This game looks a little more challenging. And then Relicta has been compared to Portal, but that's a high bar. So think Portal, but completely free and not as good.
Yeah.
Are you selling us on the game, or wait a minute?
And by completely free, I mean with the purchase of Game Pass or Games with Gold and your Game Pass,
Valve,
then it's free.
Valve replacement. All right, Relicta. What is this?
Relicta.
It is a puzzle game.
It's a puzzle game. It has a 3.5 ratio on the base game and a couple title updates with very inflated, like 5-6 ratios.
Yeah.
Only 13 completions, so it's not going to be easy.
My top friend has 96 TA in the game, so not.
My top has
I've
71.
seen-
Yeah.
Might have to be a tough one.
I've seen conflicting reviews. I've seen reviews saying this is great. I've seen reviews saying, oh, it could have been so great. So
Well, the title updates
take
have
it with a
a
grain of salt.
4.0 and a 4.5, so that's impressive. The base game has a 3.25. So.
And my guess is people just never went back to it. Like, it's not that they didn't like it, didn't like the title updates. It's just they never
Yeah,
went
true
back
enough.
to it.
So the only people voting are the ones that liked the game.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, we shall see, I suppose. I'm intrigued by that one, honestly. Just the allusion to Portal. That's sort of all I need to want to play a game.
Oh, that's Games with Gold. In Game Pass news, Far Cry 5 is coming out July 1st. And unfortunately, we did not get the July news beyond that.
We're going to get Game Passed up, I'm sure.
Yeah, Game Pass casted. We are losing EA Sports FIFA 20, Jurassic World Evolution, Last Stop, and MotoGP 20 as you are listening to this.
I just want to chime in. I feel like anyone who wanted to play Far Cry 5 has probably already played Far Cry 5. But if you have not, I enjoyed it infinitely more than 4, infinitely more than Primal, and probably more than 3, just because the mechanics are a little more modern. I haven't played 6 yet, but I know people like the older Far Cry games. Like 3 is this legendary status. I think 5's my favorite Far Cry, so if that does anything to motivate anybody in any way, have at it. But it does. It sort of it takes the Far Cry formula, and I don't know. I feel like it achieved perfection with 5. And also, you get a wardrobe. You can customize your character. I spent far too much time customizing my character that I never got to actually look at because it's a first-person game.
Isn't that the way?
Isn't that the way?
Yeah, I say that about Forza Horizon also.
Yes,
Customize
same
your
thing. I
character
did
in
that back in Horizon 4. I
See
made
them
Kelsey
for a
very
second.
pretty just to never see her other than when she waves after a race.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to go right to Rat Camp. Michelle, are you with us?
I am. So let me shout out some completion milestones. Ret Stack has reached 50 completed games. ZZ Urban Spaceman has reached 550 completed games.
Thanks, man.
Both Prue and Red 047 at 950 games, and Isrit 102 at 1100 completed games.
In streaks, Lucas 1987 with 150 days. I'm Mike Zero with 300. It's Alivex with 650. Ross with 1,000 days. Morbid 237 with 1,100. And Enigma Gamer 77 is on a 1,300 day streak. And then there's a page break. So I'm going to read
I was going to catch you back.
Seamus McLean. Seamus McLimey with 2,100 days. And our very own Matrarch with 3,200 days.
Which,
celebrating.
yeah, I saw that
Go ahead,
before we started. That's insane, Em. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's
That's
absolutely
insane.
insane. Good job.
It's not too difficult. though.
And in
Just
our
commitment to the
3-year
gimmick.
club, Morbid 237. Yeah, we talked about his days, but let's just do some math. That's 3 years. So
Very nice.
awesome.
That was good.
All
math.
right. In gamer score, we have A1EXRD. No, Alex RD has reached 350k gamer score. Saucy Slingo, 450k. You guys are giving me a hard time with this one. Dan P Sound Effects
Call 'em
has
Pacifics,
reached
I think we call 'em.
Dan Pacifics. Is that it? Cool.
That's
I'm
what
so
I think
sorry,
that-
dude.
That's what I call him. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what
All
we
right,
got.
Dan
That's what
Pacifics
we have no idea.
has reached 550,000 gamer score. I'm so sorry, dude. Dunkos, 650k, as well as Bastion Reader, 650k. And our our formerly very own Rocker Dude, 800,000 gamer score.
Rip. Alicia. Oh, sorry. In leaderboards, Alicia is in the top 200 of the England TA leaderboard for Simulation. Bastion Reader in the top 200 of the max possible completion percentage leaderboard for Xbox 360 shoot 'em ups. Wow.
That's such
Logic
a specific
Slayer.
one. I love it.
These are all very, very good. Top one. Logic Slayer's in the top 100 of the Florida Achievements 1 leaderboard. Yeah, stay home if you're in Florida. Lucas 1987 is in the top 100 of the completed games leaderboard for role playing. Quick, don't die. It's in the top 500 of the TA leaderboard for bowling. I know there's some great.
I hear there's at
connections.
least 510 people in that leaderboard.
Yeah, definitely. Sir Polygon is number 1 in the Georgia completed games leaderboard for Connect. So that's pretty good. If you're into that kind of thing. I miss Connect. And last but not least, Thrash Forever is number 1 in the England completed games leaderboard for golf. I know there's a new Golf with Your Friends level coming out soon, I think. I don't think it's out yet. I haven't heard about it.
I know Chip is very excited for that one.
Yeah, if anyone's wondering, Chip said he would buy all of us the DLC. You just have to PM him, and he will send you the DLC. I think it's $2 or $3 for the new one.
It's cheap. I thought it was $4, honestly. But...
Well, that would make sense. Waiting for it. Fine. 4.
Oh my god. Look at you. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, sleepy time. Well, we're almost out of time. We didn't quite make it to midnight, but I'm going to have to say happy birthday to Mr. Exe The Hero.
I was wondering if we were going to make it to midnight.
Happy birthday to you.
He's doing his Marilyn Monroe impression, by the way.
You
Nice.
game worse than proof. Yeah, like
Yeah.
happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I
Axe.
want you to finish the song, dude. Thank you, guys.
I should have written something. You should play some co-op. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is awesome.
All right, you
In
dropped a rhyme
six-player
scheme, but it's a solid
mode.
5 out of 7.
Yeah.
That was the joke.
In our corrections segment,
Boy.
the Bouncy Castle add-on for Golf with Your Friends came out on June 21st.
Whoops.
And the game I was going to recommend to X is called Wind Peaks. And I have mentioned it before, I think in sales, or maybe I even talked about playing it. It is a lot like Hidden Through Time. However, there's a story threaded through the levels, and there's apparently going to be a sequel. So
I will check that out. And
But it peaked. Why would there be a sequel?
follow up. Very nice.
hey-oh.
And that's PEAK. X.
Yes, there's no QU in there.
We'll just have another grammar talk for 15 more minutes and then sing proper. All right. Well, thank you for joining us, X.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like I said, almost 2 hours ago at this point, this past school year was just a nightmare mentally, emotionally. I just sort of disappeared off the face of the planet from all of my hobbies. So consider this, if you guys will have me, you being you guys and listeners. Hopefully I can make some more regular appearances in the podcast. So L, M, Chewy, Vulgar, Koosh, Waka, Foof, Rocker. Anytime you want to record, you let me know. I am hopefully back with open arms. Welcomed back with open arms.
Sounds good to me. If those 10 people call out sick, we'll keep you in mind. So, we love you. Just play another game. Come with some achievement talk. I want you to play a visual novel and write it. Tell us a Cliff's Notes version of what happened in the story.
Yeah.
That's what I
Okay.
wanna hear
Well,
from-
you,
that's what
you
I
wake
wanna hear
up in
from
the
you.
morning and your grandma
Mhm.
is hot and young, and
Okay.
then you
Tell me more.
Aunt May
now
style.
remastered in Series X 4K, A Winter's Tale.
Oh. All right, with that said, thank you for joining us for Achievement Hunting 101. And class is dismissed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.